It's Thursday, December 11th, 2025. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields, and I really hope you're doing well. Now, as we go forward, I want to watch out for some areas of drought conditions that are only going to grow, get more extreme as we go through the end of this month into January. And this is something of high concern as we go throughout the drier season for a lot of us. We expect it to be dry in spots, but it is going to be way too dry in certain spots. And you can see here right now, this is the water vapor. And this is something I kind of look at oftentimes behind the scenes. This is a snapshot of the mid-levels of the atmosphere. This orange shading we're seeing in the Eastern Caribbean, this is really dry air above our heads. It doesn't mean we're not getting rain right off the surface, right? We have that easterly flow that's with us this time of year. That gives us some fast-moving showers. But so long we have drier air that's well above our heads, it generally keeps us drier overall. We don't get any big storm systems, any big blobs of rain moving in. And it is this sector here that I have even higher concern for some drought conditions. Parts of the Northern Caribbean, we'll watch all the way back through Jamaica, Cuba, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, swinging right around anywhere from Anguilla south through Dominica and Martinique. As we work our way into the southeastern Caribbean, we should see a little bit more in the way of wet weather in the southern Caribbean. And here's that outlook as we go ahead. I want to show you the temperatures as well. This is that December outlook, and you can see right across the northern Caribbean where you have this yellow shading, even parts of Mexico, the Yucatan Peninsula, that's below average rain. Where you have the white, this is where we have about average rain, but this yellow maybe should extend all the way over here. But point being, as we work our way into the southern Caribbean, say from Trinidad back through the ABC Islands, Venezuela, Colombia, back through parts of Central America, this green shading, that's where it's going to be wetter than average. And patterns oftentimes get locked in. So we flip over into January and you see here generally the same right across the Gulf, much of the southern U.S., Florida, then swinging back toward the Bahamas the next couple of months. It's not that we can't get rain or big storm systems, big fronts kind of dropping through. It's just overall, when you look back at the months of winter, below average rain in this sector, not a whole lot in the northern and northeastern Caribbean. That's going to be a spot to really watch for those drought conditions that will be building. We swing to the north. This corresponds to what we're seeing as well right across the southeast U.S. and then swinging all the way back toward the southern U.S., which would include parts of Mexico. Texas, we're going to be looking at below average rain, and this takes us over the next 3 months. So again, we're going to see these areas of drought that are of higher concern. Northern, northeastern Caribbean swinging back toward the southern U.S. and parts of Mexico for below average rain. Quick look at some of the temperature outlooks. Some of the same areas that are going to be drier than typical should be warmer than usual, where you're seeing this red shading in through here. But overall, in the Caribbean, we should have above average temperatures, whether you're a little bit wetter or drier, as we go forward over the next few months. So big concern for some of these dry areas that we're going to see and warmer than average temperatures. And you see what's happening, at least in the short term here. The storm track is really sitting up here. Sometimes you get these winters where things kind of dive down or develop back in the Gulf and kind of swing down toward parts of the Caribbean, or at least draw on more moisture. But because a lot of these storms, at least over the next few days, and what I mean by storms, kind of fronts, winter storm systems, not talking about tropical storms or hurricanes, right? But these systems coming in from the Pacific Northwest of the United States and British Columbia as we work our way into Canada, kind of sweeping across in the north. So the fronts don't dig down as much, therefore they don't pull in as much moisture, right? And that's one of the reasons we're going to see the below average rain. And you kind of see that as it stands now. Here's a leftover front, so we do have some showers. As I mentioned, even where we could see the drought conditions, it's not necessarily dry all the time. Scattered areas, rain pulling back through parts of the Bahamas, Cuba, and then swinging back toward parts of Central America. This area here, we just happen to be on the drier side now, but here's some of that rain that's working its way back through the Bahamas. And we've had some of the cooler nights, but the energy from these fronts really lifts up more so to the north. We just kind of get the tail end of some fronts. done. So looking shorter term, and I want to show you into the weekend here and then swinging up to the north. And you see this is that leftover front that I just showed you through here. So additional rain through parts of Central America, for the most part, not too widespread. And here's that easterly flow. While we have that dry air aloft, Antigua, Barbuda, St. Lucia, Barbados, we still have right at the surface that easterly flow that could give us some showers. Then we're watching Guyana, Suriname, parts of Venezuela. The next few days where flooding could be a potential, and that corresponds to what I was showing you, how southern sections would have that better chance of additional rain as we go over the next few months. This here's our Friday. See some scattered areas of rain, but Suriname, Guyana, the rain continues to build in through here. Very spotty in nature through here. That easterly flow that will be kicking by at the surface, but as we get some rain, it's not going to amount to too much as a whole. But watching some areas of rain as we work our way into Saturday, what we'll be watching, I'll show you in just a second, will be another system up to the north, and you see some of that rain, Florida Keys, back through South Florida, back through the northern and central Bahamas. Saturday night into Sunday, scattered areas of rain, a little more widespread in parts of Central America, Belize, back through Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Panama, Honduras, kind of scattered about, and then just hit or miss for us as we work our way into the eastern Caribbean. So lifting to the north, I mentioned these fronts that dip down, a lot of the energy kind of lifts up to the north. It's been active, the Atlantic region of Canada. Here are these systems that kind of are scooting by up to the north, nothing building toward Mexico really, or the Gulf. So this here is our Friday. A lot in the way of some cooler weather in some spots. And then as we go out in time here into the weekend, we'll be watching out for another system that will kind of start to lift up to the north. You'll see it here as we work our way into Saturday. Here that is the tail end of a front through here. But as we get another area developing off the coast of the U.S., lifting up toward the Atlantic region of Canada, that is going to provide a little bit more rain, right? You could see it, Bermuda at times, big batches of rain. We'll be watching parts of the Bahamas, and I mentioned especially South Florida, back through the Florida Keys, and then western and central sections of Cuba for getting some of that additional rain. We're looking at the, excuse me, the wave heights here as we go throughout the day. Pretty similar to yesterday. The Gulf, as I mentioned, with not a whole lot going on, no big storm systems rolling by, relatively settled in the Gulf, a chop into parts of the Caribbean. This here is tomorrow. The Atlantic passageways a bit bumpier as we work our way into our Friday forecast. So you see that here. Gulf still on the quiet side. There's that chop south of Jamaica as far as the seas are concerned. And then into the weekend, this is our Saturday. Generally the same thing holding, just keeping an eye on the Atlantic passageways. Bahamas overall, the seas relatively low as we work our way Friday into Saturday, generally settled in that department. So here is that area where there hasn't been a whole lot of rain. If we get some rain, it would be very brief for the most part. And you see as you work our way back toward the Bahamas, could get a quick 25 millimeters of rain in a few spots. Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Cuba, Haiti, the DR, Turks and Caicos, generally passing variety of stuff. Puerto Rico, eastern side, we'll see some additional rain that will be a possibility, and then just kind of swinging quickly down to the south. Not a whole lot, kind of hit or miss as far as that rain is concerned. You see it here, but this area right in through here, Guyana and Suriname, will monitor for some additional rain, and we'll see how it kind of stacks up, not just in the short term, but also the long term as some rivers rise. We get more of that runoff. We'll see how things go, but watching out for some totals that could be around 100 millimeters of some rain scattered about in through here. While some of us are just simply dry, El Salvador, not a whole lot, western Nicaragua, for example, other areas, parts of Belize, parts of Costa Rica, we could get some of those downpours that could give us a 3-day total around 100 millimeters of rain or 4 inches of rain. But in through here, Mexico City, north of Baja, California, Arizona, swinging back toward New Mexico, Texas, southern U.S., really dry. This will be a shot of some snow in here, but not a lot of action right in through here. So Jamaica, we could get a couple brief downpours around today. Rain chance at about 40%. Then tomorrow we have a 30% chance. Same thing for the most part in the Cayman Islands through the weekend. Rain chance looking at about 30 to 40%. Again, passing variety. Trinidad and Tobago, that rain chance is on the lower side, 20, maybe 30% chance, but Barbados today, and even back towards St. Lucia, the rain chance is a little higher. There's a bit more moisture just in this pocket, so as we get back towards St. Lucia today, rain chance about 50%, then it drops off tomorrow. Grenada, we're mainly dry, rain chance the next few days at 20%. In the next couple of days, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the rain chance holding at 30%, but here's that pocket again by Martinique. Rain chance a little higher today, and even tonight we're looking at a 50% chance from Martinique back through Dominica, 50% chance today down to a 30% chance tomorrow, and spotty showers possible today into tonight as we get back through Guadeloupe. Then we swing to the north, Antigua, Barbuda, only a 20% chance of a shower today. We swing back towards St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat, 20% chance today and a 30% chance for tomorrow. 30% chance over the next couple of days as we work our way to Anguilla and St. Bart's. By Saturday, we could see a few more showers isolated. St. Martin, Saba, and Statia. We get back through Puerto Rico, 20% chance today, 30% chance tomorrow. Eastern sections, a better chance of getting some of the rain. Rain chance stays on the minimal side from Anegada south through St. Croix. Then we swing back toward the Bahamas. That's where we'll have some scattered showers, mainly northern and really central Bahamas, that one pocket with the tail end of that front. Turks and Caicos, rain chance 30 to 40%, about a 30 to 40% chance across the Dominican Republic. Staying on the low side back through Haiti, rain chance only 20%. 40 to 50% chance scattered areas of rain will continue through the end of the week. Parts of Belize, meanwhile, the ABC Islands were generally on the dry side, rain chance as a whole running at about 20%, and that's it. Guyana and Suriname, rain chance though 70 to 80%, right? So watching out for that flooding, that potential in Guyana. Suriname, about a 60% chance favoring northern sections. Isolated back through Cuba, a 30% chance. 40% chance today, Costa Rica and Panama, but it builds a little bit, a 50% chance tomorrow, then a 60% chance on Saturday. Nicaragua, rain chance 40%, mainly eastern sections. Honduras, some scattered areas, rain, 50% chance, 30% chance. Guatemala and El Salvador, the Mexico City, and especially to the north, very dry. We'll monitor those drought conditions as we go forward. Yucatan Peninsula, 40 to 50%, and a 30 to 40% chance back through northern Colombia. Northern Venezuela, we're going to see about a 40% chance of getting some of the rain, and then you see these areas of rain at times coming off the east coast of the U.S., a 60% chance today in Bermuda, and then we'll see even more of that as we get into a Sunday. We could see another shot of rain. Meanwhile, Orlando on the dry side, generally dry the next couple of days in Miami, but I mentioned as we get down the road into the weekend, we'll be watching out for that chance of rain building somewhat Florida Keys and parts of South Florida, so we'll monitor that. Swinging back toward Tampa, a lot of sunshine with those cool starts. Same thing as we get back toward Houston, mainly dry. So as we go forward, the drought concerns, they will grow. Northern and northeastern Caribbean in particular for some of those drought conditions. That's what we'll be tracking together through the winter. A lot of the fronts staying to the north. We'll get some of that dip down, but more stay to the north, so we don't see as much moisture kind of getting pulled in. We could see some showers at times, but not necessarily widespread rain, and still monitoring all of that earthquake activity. I'll have another update on that in tomorrow's video for you. So thank you for being part of this channel. We'll monitor things together, and I hope you have a really good Thursday ahead.